Welcome, everyone. The week of September 30th, we have some big energy that we're going to be working with because we have a solar eclipse that's coming in on October 2nd or 3rd, depending on where you live in the world. So, this eclipse will be driving the energy this week, and this is what we're going to feel the most intensely. So, I wanted to spend a few moments to kind of dive into the eclipse and kind of highlight the energies that we'll likely be working with and how it may show up for you. And then you can decide how to work with it when it shows up for you in whichever way it does. Then we're going to move into the week ahead forecast because there's interesting energies that are at play alongside of this eclipse energy that are helping us to build something solid and sustainable. So let's first talk about this eclipse. It's interesting because we're going to be working with the vibrations of the 2 and the 3 for this eclipse, for this solar eclipse. And instead of giving sort of this long-winded explanation of the energies that could be at play, I thought, when I was looking at the 2 vibrations that we're working with, again, which are the 2 and the 3, I think the most impactful way to kind of help you to understand sort of what you'll be working with or how this could show up for you is to simply read off for each of the vibrations what the energy signifies, right? Like what the 2 signifies and what the 3 signifies, because these are the areas that over the next potentially 6 months, we're going to see play out not only individually, but globally, where we're going to have an opportunity in some area of our life, wherever these energies need to surface and where we need to sort of raise the vibration of these energies in whatever particular area of our life. This is where we're going to see the most emphasis. So as I kind of read through these vibrations, have a think about how these could potentially be showing up for you, and pay attention to how they start to surface and sort of unfold over the next 6 months for you. And instead of seeing it as punitive or something that is a challenge and getting frustrated over it, try to see it for what it's trying to show you, because again, it's helping you to step into the higher vibrations of these energies of the 2 and the 3. So again, how it surfaces for you may be different than how it surfaces for someone else, but how it surfaces for you is where you need to pay attention to over the next 6 months, at least. So these are the themes for this eclipse. And I think it's really profound, and we can think about how the state of the world is at the moment. And how interesting it is that this last eclipse that we're having in 2024 is highlighting these vibrations, okay? Remember, the 2 and the 3. So we've got balance, bringing things back into balance in some area of our life. Peace and harmony, right? Coming together, seeing eye to eye, healing our differences, building a bridge, not burning a bridge down, building some kind of a bridge that we can all walk across, that we can all come together on, right? Healing self and healing our relationships. Again, finding some kind of common ground. Compromise is going to be a key theme, not sacrifice, compromise. Collaboration. Communication. So again, how can we better communicate to not debate? Because debate is, I'm going to tell you what my opinion is and try to convince you of why you should, get on board and believe it. Communication is, let me express how I feel, what I need, what I want, and give you an opportunity to do the same. And then find that common ground, right? We're trying to understand the other person, not influence or change or manipulate the other person through a debate. We're communicating and coming to some kind of agreement, some kind of, again, common ground where we can all sort of benefit from the outcome. So greater communication is definitely at the forefront of this eclipse. Unity and coming together is such a vibration of the 2. So again, this eclipse is going to be pushing us towards these vibrations. But in order sometimes to reach the higher vibrations of an energy, you have to move through the sort of the destruction, the chaos, the conflict, in order to sort of see where the dysfunction is, to see where the disconnect is, and then find a way to bring that connection back in, right? And to find a greater resource, a greater solution. But in order to do that, guess what? We need communication, we need collaboration. And this unity and coming together, it's so interesting that this is such a strong vibration of this eclipse, and will likely be a strong theme over the next, again, 6 months or so, really pushing us towards these themes. Now, it's up to us what we choose to do with it, because remember, the energy can be present. It's what we choose to do with it that makes the difference and that creates our own personal experiences. But in some area of our lives, these themes will be coming up, and it can be a little bit uncomfortable as we're confronted with where it is that we're in a lower vibration of these themes, right? So that we can move towards, through, again, observation, through communication, through understanding what it is that's needed in order to move into the higher octaves of these vibrations, right? I just find it so interesting that this eclipse, and in astrology, it's happening in the sign of Libra. So this is not, not really surprising. The astrology and the numerology usually go pretty hand in hand. But, as I was looking at these themes, I'm like, man, these themes are so needed in the world at this time. I mean, always, but at this time, right? So unity and coming together is a big one. Joy, creativity, and imagination. So connecting back into our inner child, connecting back into our own uniqueness and our own differences, like what makes us who we are, and really coming back to our own authenticity. And then honoring that, of course, within ourselves, but honoring it within each other, so that we're not fighting over our differences. We're actually celebrating our unique differences and our unique contributions. And so this all sounds like, rainbows, sunshine, and kittens. But in order to get there, we know that it's a difficult journey because we're in that journey, right? I mean, you can turn on the news if you want to. I don't know that I would advise it, but you can turn on the news and see, there's so much discord, there's so much separation, there's so much good in the world as well. And there's so much of this already. But this energy is pushing us on a larger scale to really sort of, first, it has to be individual, to recognize where it is in our own lives that we're not in alignment with these vibrations, right? We're maybe overly biased, overly judgmental, overly opinionated, right? Maybe we're coming to every connection wanting to debate, as opposed to wanting to understand the other person and their needs and their wants and their desires, and then working towards coming to some kind of common ground, some kind of greater understanding. And so, I just think these energies are so beautiful, because really at the core of this is pushing us towards greater acceptance of ourselves, and then through that journey, greater acceptance of others, and finding better solutions for what that looks like, right? Because what we're doing right now on a global scale is not working, right? Because if it were, we wouldn't have wars, we wouldn't have, the need for debates, we wouldn't have the need for separation and discord. It wouldn't be happening, because we would see the greater picture. We would be able to not only see the divinity within ourselves, but see the divinity within each other and see the sacredness of that. So really incredibly beautiful energies of this eclipse. How it could present for you, again, will depend on where it needs to. So if there are relationships that need mending or healing, you will likely see it surface in that area. If you're disconnected from your joy, from your inner child, from your imagination, from your own authenticity and uniqueness, this eclipse could bring into sort of light where it is you need to get reconnected, where it is you need to play a little bit more, find your joy throughout the chaos, come back to your joy, come back to what lights you up, come back to your what makes you unique, because that's what the world needs. That's what we want you to contribute. Even if we as a collective don't recognize that yet, because there's so much that's an emphasis where differences are negative, when in reality, the differences and the uniqueness is one of the beauties of even being on this planet in the first place, right? And what we can create with that. So at the core of this eclipse, it really truly is such beautiful energy, but in order to get to this higher vibration, there has to be a recognition of where it is that we're not in this vibration, right? Where it is that we're not able to see, or where it is that we're not able to find common ground, where it is that we're not able to move towards greater harmony, peace, and acceptance, that sort of thing. And this is, again, on a global scale as well as individual. So at the core of this eclipse is incredibly beautiful energy. But again, it's going to be how we as individuals move through the obstacles and the challenges that are put before us. And really, when I say the obstacles that are put before us, it's the obstacles that we create with our own decisions and how we show up to situations, how we engage, and how we choose to participate, right? So yeah, I think there'll be an opportunity for greater self-discovery in how we ourselves can show up to situations in a much more harmonious, much more open, much more communicative type of way. And none of us are perfect, right? This is a journey. This takes practice. This takes work to get to these higher vibrations. But I think we'll see that that's where this eclipse is trying to push us, is to move into these higher vibrations for greater unity, for coming together, for greater peace and harmony and healing. And there's so many areas, generationally, just what's occurring now that needs healing on a greater level. And first we have to come back to ourselves to do that. And then we can come together with others to help to heal those relationships, etc. So a lot under the influence of this eclipse. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And it's not like this is an overnight solution or an overnight, it's just gonna, the light switch is gonna be flipped and then all of a sudden, again, rainbows, sunshines, and unicorns. It doesn't really work that way. Likely there will have to be some kind of, deconstruction in order to reconstruct in a way that is much more aligned with these energies. So it's very possible that over the next 6 months to a year, we could see a lot of disarray and chaos and destruction and that sort of thing. And, polarities are a real thing. And so in order for us to have more of the light, we have to have more of the darkness first, right? And that darkness never goes away. It's just the goal is to bring it all into balance, right? And that's kind of what we continue to do as we move through life. And these eclipses helped us to do that, to not avoid the darkness, but to bring it into harmony with the light. So a lot here. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds over the next 6 months to a year. I think we have a long ways to go, right? And it's definitely not going to be a solution that is just rectified in 6 months, for sure. But when we can recognize that it's our individual contribution that greatly affects the whole, then we bring it back to self and we see, where is it that I can step into the higher vibrations of these energies to bring that harmony, balance, peace, love, joy, and uniqueness and authenticity back into my life. And as I do it as the individual, then that energy knocks off into the collective and we start to see that change. We start to see that evolution and that growth and that raise in the consciousness. So interesting times that we are in at the moment. And we just need to remember that we each individually contribute so much into the collective and sort of the evolution of our own species, this planet, etc. Big energy. Okay, the week of September 30th, moving on to the energies this week, we're working with the vibration of the 44, so 404. And again, it's interesting, the interplay here with the energies, because we have everything that I just talked about with the eclipse, which is definitely the big energy this week. And we're going to feel that most strongly. But the 4 brings in the emphasis on the foundation. It's very foundational energy. So at the core of this energy, it's saying, what are you building? Are you happy with what you're building? And this can be in your career, in your own life, with your health, with your relationships, in any area of your life. The 4 comes in and it sort of slows everything down and it says, let's just pace ourselves. Let's take our time. Let's reevaluate. Let's make sure that the path that we're on is the path that we want to be on. Let's make sure that the tools and the sort of the bricks that we're using to build our foundation are the ones that make the most sense for us and are the ones that are helping us to build the foundation that's going to be the most sustainable for us and that fits in with what we want and, our heart's desires, etc. But it's really this question of your soul, the universe asking you, are you happy with what you're building? Are you happy with what you are putting out into the world, how you are, living your life day to day, what you're participating in, how you're contributing, etc. If you're not, then this energy this week is really going to have you take a closer look at where the sort of, breaks in your foundation are, where it is that you're not happy with what it is you're building. And this energy will ask you to tear it down and start over, and to do it in a way that does feel good, that does feel aligned, that works for you and those involved. So this is definitely a slower week where you could see challenges surface at this time. But again, those challenges are not punitive. They're simply saying, let's just take a look, right? Anytime there's kind of a challenge in front of us, it's either helping us to extract some greater wisdom from that experience of overcoming that challenge, or it's saying, slow down, take a closer look, make sure this is what you want before you continue to build on it. So again, this can be relationships, this can be a career, how you're investing your energy, how you're showing up, your belief system. Belief systems will absolutely be coming onto the cutting block, I would say over the next 6 months, for sure. To take a closer look at, are your belief systems supporting you and helping you to move towards the best version of yourself, or continue to be the best version of yourself? Or are they a self-imposed prison where it's actually keeping you sort of going in circles, it's detrimental to your growth and to your evolution? So this energy and the energy of the eclipse could present you with where those belief systems are actually holding you back and keeping you stuck and sort of maybe even de-evolving, right? It's very, very possible. Sometimes our thoughts, I would say a lot of times our thoughts and those sort of ingrained belief systems that we've acquired throughout our journey can be one of the greatest hindrance to our own personal joy and our own personal tapping into our imagination and expressing ourselves in a truly authentic, unique way. And so much could be coming up for review at this time to say, take a look at this. And it's okay, right? It's like once we recognize that our belief systems are holding us back, guess what? We can work on changing them. We can work on, incorporating different belief systems and saying yes to different things and exploring different things, trying new things, being open to new things. And that's how, through that change, that's how evolution happens, right? That's how we continue to grow and to evolve. Patience and persistence are going to be a big one this week. So again, you could see that things really slow down, that if you had some momentum, it might really kind of decrease at this time. And it's just simply saying, pay attention to the steps, pay attention to the bigger picture, but don't lose sight of the finer details. Don't lose sight of the present moment, of each step that you're taking along the way, because that's the most important part, right? You might have the vision and an idea of where you want to go, but if you don't pay attention to the steps, then you might not like the destination once you get there, because what you've been building, you've kind of been rushing through it. So the 4 comes in and slows everything down to say, just check in with yourself. Make sure that the direction you're moving is heart-led, it's heart-centered, that it's the direction you want to be moving in this moment. Can that change? Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of the 4 energy, is it helps us to pause and evaluate and sort of reevaluate to make sure that the direction we're moving, whether again it's relationship, belief system, whatever, career, is the direction we want to be moving in. If it's not, then this is a great time for a redirect, to shift gears, to change direction. If it is what we want and it's the direction we want to be moving in, then this energy says, just be patient, keep going, be persistent, keep moving forward, and you'll get there. And you'll be happy with the destination once you get there because of what you've built along the way, right? The other thing I would say is, with the 4 energy, it's very systematic, or it's meant to be. It's very methodical. If there's a plan, right? If there's a strategy. So this energy can have you check in with yourself to say, okay, you want X, Y, and Z. What is your plan to get there? And do you feel good about that plan? Do you have everything in place that you need to implement that plan? What are your limitations? Are you calling in the resources to help you with those limitations, etc.? So this is, again, a great time to get your team together to, make sure that you have the resources that you need in order to continue on this journey, that you are recognizing, acknowledging, and honoring your limitations and finding a way to call in those greater resources that can help you with that. The 4 helps us to find ways to work smarter, not harder, right? And so sometimes we have to recognize, I don't have all the answers. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. And, it would be okay to collaborate and to ask for help and to, again, recognize where it is that maybe I've got some limitations and call in the resources to help you to, again, work smarter, not harder. I do think it's interesting too, because there could be a lot of breaks, separation, crumbling at this time. Again, especially where there are breaks in the foundation, you could see those fall away now. So there could be relationships that fall away. There could be, jobs that fall away. Again, belief systems, whatever is sort of impeding the momentum forward, right? Whatever is impeding your path, you could see that fall away at this time because it's not aiding you, it's not helping you, it's actually hindering you in moving forward in your journey forward. And so you could see that fall away at this time. And I would say if it falls away, let it go. Let it go. If it's meant for you, it will come back, and it will come back in a healthier way where it's helping you to build, not keeping you from building. And again, that goes with belief systems. So much of what falls away at this time, and again, it's a short cycle, it's only a week, but so much of what falls away at this time is making way for a better way, right? A better way of doing something, a better way of seeing something, a better way of investing your time and energy and participating in something. And sometimes usually when we get that awareness, then we can take action to do better, right? It's kind of like when you know better, you can do better. The 4 and this eclipse are helping us to see where it is that we can do better. And then it's our job to do better in whatever that area is, right? For ourselves, for others, for our community, etc. But breaking free from old belief systems and old ways of doing things that just because we've done it, it's tried and true, it worked for centuries, whatever, but it's just not working anymore. Those are the things, again, globally we'll see start to fall away. Individually we'll start to see fall away, and we can either get caught up in the chaos of that and sort of get sort of overwhelmed by what's falling away, instead of seeing that what's falling away is actually creating a path for something way better, not only for ourselves, but collectively as well. And that's incredibly powerful. So yeah, one of sort of the highlights that I wrote down for this week is that obstacles might be frustrating, but they're an absolute blessing now for a better way. So again, obstacles, tests, challenges that come up for you this week, it could be easy to say, dang nammit, I hate the 4. I hate that energy. But really, it's again, the 4 comes in and is kind of like that wise sage that says, here, let me just hold you back for a moment so that you can take a closer look at the direction you're moving in, to make sure that that's what you want, to make sure that what you're building feels good for you. That's it. It's not punitive. It's actually helping us to see, instead of getting caught up in the goal or the future or whatever, we can pause, come back to the moment, and see how we're actually investing our energy and how we're participating, and decide how it is that we want to change that, if we want to change it. If you like the results you're getting, if you like your experience at the moment in all areas, then you likely won't feel this energy very strongly. But I would argue that we all have areas of our lives that need some addressing, that need to, that there's a better way of approaching or doing it, or showing up, or contributing, or expressing ourselves, etc. And by better way, I just mean more aligned with ourselves, with our soul, with, our journey, and what it is that we came here to express, and how it is that we came here to, be in this experience of life. So beautiful, very powerful energies this week. And I would say also for the next 6 months to a year, try not to get tripped up by the challenges or the obstacles or the seemingly like, there might be a period where it feels like there's just a lot falling apart. But recognize that, things can be built a certain way, and they can, let's just say a building, right? It can be built a certain way and it can serve its purpose for the period of time it's meant to serve its purpose. But at some point, we're going to evolve, and that particular system or building is no longer going to serve us. It's not going to work, and it can be a belief system, relationship, whatever. So sometimes, we need to kind of dismantle it and start over and do it a better way and build something and create something that is much more aligned with the now and that serves the now. So yeah, interesting energies. I would just say, pay attention to the obstacles and the challenges and whatever confronts you at this time. And don't see it as punitive. See it as it's trying to show you something, and was it trying to show you? And whatever that is helping you to, get more higher aligned to your own life path, to these energies and your path. So hope it's a great week. Hope it's a great eclipse. I'm right there with you. Have a great one. Thanks for being here. Bye.